Just when this community started to lose hope, one post changed everything. Make sure you guys smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Thursday was the 25th anniversary for Alter Reality Games, or as many of us might know them as ARG. And this post was made by the president of the company, Jim. And you might have noticed something here. Why would you make a post on Facebook with a spotlight showing ARG? Now, over the last couple of hours, this has kind of made its circulation around the internet, and I have read nothing but positive comments from this. Now, many people still remember ARG as the company that, ran their own events, tried to make their own ban list. And by the way, at the time of them making their own ban list, was something that the community had requested. They didn't like the current format that Konami was under, so they made their own list. And then, the negative side effects from that were, they're trying to market and push their own cards. Nobody is ever going to be happy with this. So what does it mean? And who in the world is ARG? Because I'm sure some of you people have never even heard of ARG. Somebody's going to be like, okay, well, why do we give a crap about this? This is just, I've never heard of them. Why were they relevant to the game? So a little bit of history lesson for you here and why this is relevant to the Yu-Gi-Oh community. They did a lot of tournament series pre-COVID. They had their entire own circuit series. It was very popular from the 2014s through like the 2018s and 2019s. They did a lot of streaming. They did a lot of events. PPG kind of took up the helm for doing this kind of stuff for a little while. I know Pro Play is back with like the Pro Play circuits, and they've been working with Arbet and running events like that. So a little bit of an extra fun fact there for those of you that don't know. Yes, Pro Play Games does do a tournament circuit for the game. You might not have ever thought about checking that out, but you really should if you are interested. So the return of ARG means that there is one more possible alternative depending on what's to come out of this. ARG was also a store located in Ohio. I believe it was northeast up in that area. Is that Cleveland? Because I know Cincy's down below, Columbus is in the middle, Toledo is up by me. So yeah, I think it had to be the Cleveland area up there. And they tried to make their own card game, which was actually very, very cool. But unfortunately, COVID happened, which pretty much just nail coffined Argent Saga, which was a really sad time because that game had a lot of cool potential for it. I also am a card in Argent Saga, which is extremely cool. So this all coming together means possible return of the ARG Circuit Series. I would love to see another alternative being presented to the modern era version of Yu-Gi-Oh! But you've also got to remember that a lot of the older community are more of the ones that are willing to travel to more of these events. And I think that alone is a major thing that you need to think about here, is depending on how that part is going to go. You've got a lot to kind of think about which community you're going to cater towards. You're going to cater towards older Yu-Gi-Oh! Or you're going to cater towards modern. I don't really know. I don't know, this one's going to sound really weird, but I don't know in current modern times how many people would travel to a circuit series again. Collecticons have kind of become they are now the Pokemon Slab Exchange. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about explaining that. But if the Circuit Series was to come back, it'd be really cool to see, having the Bandai games spinning through, having it kind of turns into the card games fair, which it originally kind of felt like. You could go to a Circuit Series back in the day and you could have Dragon Ball, you could have Card Fight Vanguard, you could have Yu-Gi-Oh, you could have all of these games, happening all simultaneously underneath this. And I think that's what PPG has initially tried to do more so now. But I think a little bit of competition in this space is not necessarily going to be a bad thing. But the only other announcement that we had was, thank you for all of the happy wishes. I am going to, but got to talk with the team before we make any real announcements for what's to come. But there is something cooking in the background here. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I'm so happy about this, man. I think it's more or less the nostalgia kicking in, because I helped a lot during the Circuit Series for Vanguard. I did a lot with trying to get something established with that particular part of the game. And it was nice to see that, those times are actually kind of cool. I also enjoyed seeing Yu-Gi-Oh's developments from back in that era and how the game had grown. And seeing somebody that was in charge of doing something like that come back and actually want to do something like that. It's Darkest Before Dawn kind of scenario. But what are you guys excited about? Also, with the current state of things right now, I'm not going to say Yu-Gi-Oh feels like it's bad. I mean, this constant dragging on of no ban list, no ban list, no ban list, no ban list. But hey, Justice Hunters changed the format. Yes, Justice Hunters did change up the format, but the problem still remains that change wasn't enough to, you got to bring back things. Like, what if I want to play Summon Sorceress right now? Like, Summon Sorceress should have come back months ago. Why are we dragging our feet on certain decisions here? Now, I do hope if ARG comes back, I don't want them to make their own list again, because that was one of the things that, years later, this community still doesn't fully understand what happened there. I think that's a crazy part, too, about this. That's one of the biggest things ARG was remembered for, was taking the game into their own hands and trying to do something like the player base one. But the casual players from that era go, well, they were just making their own list. They were just punishing, they were trying to sell cards. No, they were genuinely going, hey, we're going to test the waters. This is what you guys wanted. But instead it had the adverse effects. And I've even seen the sarcasm throughout the years with people going, oh, hey, what are you going to do, ARG, and make your own list? This is why we say that the community is never going to be allowed to make their own list. Because if somebody does try to do something at the request of the player base, you get shit like this happen. You get people upset. You get people that are just massively confused by what the actual objective end goal actually was at the end of the sugar-coated rainbow. And it's such a weird thing. You complain about the powers that be, or you take things into your own hands, run your own circuit, or run your own tournament series, give cash prizing, and players are still going to be upset with you. I'm never going to truly understand the cycle of this game, because it's like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And then you're like, fuck it, I did it. Now everybody's mad at me. Now nobody wants to come to it because I took it into my own hands. Like, I don't understand it, man. I truly do not know what this player base wants. I do not understand how to change what this player base, what their perceptions are and what they want. But God, man, it is crazy to me to see what is going on inside of some of these minds and how, you try to cater to one half of the sector and the other half just goes crazy. But I'm wishing the best to ARG. I'm very curious to see what is going to unlock out of this venture. And I'm very curious to see what's going to come here in the near future because, hey, man, you never know. 2026 could be a very crazy time. It's only been 6 years, 5.5 years for the Circuit Series. So I'll have to wait and see. Bye-bye! Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.